Francis Ngannou predicts Makhachev vs. Oliveira UFC 294. Charles Oliveira vs. Islam Makhachev is one of the most highly anticipated matches in the UFC. The first battle between these two was insane to see. Seeing Charles Oliveira, the submission legend, get completely handled by Islam Makhachev was crazy. Nobody thought Islam would pull it off, but surely enough he did, and it was shocking to see. Francis Ngannou was recently seen on the Joe Rogan podcast, and surprisingly, he had a lot to say about this matchup. Francis has been seen on Joe's podcast in the past. The two seemed to be close buddies, so Francis was more than comfortable on set. Francis and Joe got into the discussion of UFC 294, one of the most interesting cards we'll be seeing this year. With Khamzat and Paulo Costa going at it, then Islam and Oliveira being the main event, this UFC card has fans on edge. Everyone is super excited to see Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira step into the octagon for the second time. Well, it seems like everyone's excited except for Francis Ngannou. Francis and Joe Rogan got into some pretty interesting topics during the recent podcast, but nothing seemed as interesting as Ngannou's prediction for Makhachev vs. Oliveira. First off, it's clear that Francis Ngannou is not a fan of Islam Makhachev, which is a curveball for Joe Rogan. But the most insane part is Francis claiming Islam got lucky during his first match against Oliveira. We all know that Islam completely dominated Oliveira, and most people think he deserved the title after that performance. But Francis Ngannou thinks differently, and he claims Charles Oliveira will be putting his lights out this time around. Obviously, this is shocking for many people to hear, but Joe Rogan seems to be the most shocked about Ngannou's opinion. There's obviously a lot to get into with all that's going on in the industry, but today we'll mainly be sticking to Francis Ngannou predicts Makhachev vs. Oliveira UFC 294, because this recent UFC prediction has the media shook. Nobody thought Francis Ngannou would ever come out and say this about Islam Makhachev. Like I said, there's a lot to get into today, so be sure to stick around and watch this video until the end as we get into things one detail at a time. Trust me when I say you won't want to miss a thing. Thanks for stopping by today and visiting us at Warrior Report. We post daily UFC updates and news that you really should know about if you're a fan. For more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment keyword UFC to enter our brand new giveaway. One lucky viewer will be picked. Now, let's jump into this video and take a closer look at Francis Ngannou predicts Makhachev vs. Oliveira UFC 294. Francis Ngannou, born on September 5, 1986 in Badi, Cameroon, had a challenging upbringing that eventually shaped his path to becoming one of the most feared fighters in the world of mixed martial arts. He grew up in a small village in Cameroon where he faced economic hardships and struggled to make ends meet. Ngannou's early life was marked by poverty and a lack of access to basic resources. He worked in the sand mines of his village, performing grueling labor under difficult conditions. Despite the hardships, Ngannou's spirit remained unbroken, and he dreamt of a better life. Francis Ngannou's journey to MMA fame began when he watched a UFC fight on television for the first time. He was instantly captivated by the sport and saw it as an opportunity to escape the difficult circumstances he faced in Cameroon. Determined to pursue his newfound passion, Ngannou embarked on a remarkable journey. At the age of 26, Ngannou left Cameroon and embarked on a perilous journey that took him across the African continent and eventually to France, where he sought asylum. In France, he discovered a local MMA gym and began training. Despite initially facing language barriers and cultural adjustments, Ngannou's extraordinary physical gifts and dedication quickly caught the attention of trainers. He rapidly progressed in the sport, showcasing immense knockout power and athleticism. In 2015, he made his professional MMA debut and began an ascent that would lead him to the UFC, the premier organization in the sport. In 2018, Francis Ngannou's meteoric rise reached its peak when he faced Stipe Miocic for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Although he fell short in that title bout, he continued to impress with his devastating striking and knockout victories. By 2021, Ngannou claimed the UFC Heavyweight Championship by defeating Miocic in a highly anticipated rematch. His inspirational journey from poverty to Cameroon to the pinnacle of MMA fame made him a global sensation and symbol of resilience. Francis Ngannou holds the record for the highest punching power ever measured in the UFC, surpassing that of 2017 Ford Escape, crashing into a wall. Before pursuing MMA, Ngannou had inspirations of becoming a professional boxer. His striking skills, honed in the boxing gym, have been a key component of his success in MMA. Ngannou's life story was the inspiration for the character Kumba in the French animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Francis Ngannou shares a friendship with Joe Rogan, the renowned stand-up comedian, podcast host, and commentator for the UFC. Their connection likely developed through Ngannou's appearances on Rogan's popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan has been a strong supporter of Ngannou's career and has praised his indelible knockout power and rapid rise in the sport. The camaraderie between the two is evident in their podcast conversations. They discuss various aspects of MMA, training, and Ngannou's remarkable journey. Francis Ngannou's extraordinary journey from a difficult upbringing in Cameroon to becoming a UFC heavyweight champion is a testament to his resilience and determination. His friendship with Joe Rogan reflects the camaraderie that often develops among individuals who share a passion for MMA and its intricacies. Be sure to subscribe for the latest UFC content. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time at Warrior Report.